Hello, my name's Ian. I'm doing videos for my Small Corner channel, and I'm going to talk about my favorite genre, which is the RPG genre of video games. And I'm going to do a top 5 list of my top 5 favorite RPGs. And my hair does not look very good right now, so please don't criticize. So I'm going to start off with number 5. My number 5 favorite RPG of all time is Fallout 3. And a lot of people probably get mad that it's not higher on the list, but I think that the other games that I had on this list were just simply better than this game. And that's nothing against this game. I thought that Fallout 3 was probably the best game of 2008, and it just added so much to the Fallout series. And besides the amazing story, I really thought that this game only had 2 points worth mentioning about how great it was, and these 2 points basically completely made the game. Size and just the environment, the atmosphere of the game. And a lot of RPGs kind of fall short in the atmosphere department. Two of my games, I'll mention them, are included. But Fallout 3 does not, especially because basically in a game about a post-apocalyptic wasteland, atmosphere is everything, and they got it perfect for Fallout 3. Everywhere you go and everyone you talk to, you can tell that they're gonna probably try to kill you if you have something good on you, and everyone you go is kind of twisted because of this environment. Also, the size of the game. The game is enormous, and though I think that other games by that company might have been a little bigger, Fallout 3 was much deeper. I mean, there were hundreds of weapons and tons of locations to discover, and that's why I thought that it was such a good game. My number 4 game is two games, and this is just kind of a series, and it's the Mass Effect series. Basically, I thought that Mass Effect has really done wonders for the RPG genre. The Mass Effect series. Mass Effect 1 was great as far as story goes, and I just wanted to include it on there because Mass Effect was such an important game, has been such an important game to RPGs. I mean, Mass Effect did for RPGs probably what the original Baldur's Gate did. It's just added so much to RPGs, and RPGs since Mass Effect have been distinctly and visibly better. But the real game in the series that I want to talk about is the more recent one, and that's Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 1 basically fell short in every area but story. The presentation was off. I mean, there was horrible texture popping. I mean, like there was really slow loading times, the elevator rides, the Mako, which was impossible to drive, and I mean, and the side quests that were the same every single time. And Mass Effect 2 fixed every single one of those problems. And like I said about Fallout 3, Mass Effect 2 has an amazingly cinematic atmosphere. I mean, the first time that a gamer goes into Afterlife on whatever that one planet is in Mass Effect that Afterlife is on, that's an important moment for a person that likes RPGs because that place is just so amazingly realistic. Everything they did about Mass Effect 2 was on the ball. The story goes perfectly. Besides, maybe the ending could have been a little less corny, but I mean, other than that, everything about the game was perfect. I mean, the side quests are amazing. The characters you meet are amazing. And by the end, you really feel attached. And that's why the Mass Effect series is on my list. My number 3 favorite RPG of all time is Knights of the Old Republic 2. And there's really not much I can say about this game. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic 1, I think, was better, and it's on my list also. And the reason that I didn't combine these series is because, basically, Knights of the Old Republic 2 and Knights of the Old Republic 1 were basically different games. I mean, Knights of the Old Republic 1, basically, I'll tell you about that later, but the reason why I have Knights of the Old Republic 2 on the list is because that game was my personal favorite. I didn't play Knights of the Old Republic 1 or Knights of the Old Republic 1 first. I played Knights of the Old Republic 2 first. And that's the kind of game that you really get attached to. By the end of that game, after you finally defeat the evil Darth Trey or whatever, and then leave the planet after it blows up and it's really sad and just like, it's like that's a moment in your gaming history that is like that you really feel attached to that game. And that's what's so brilliant about it, is that you're attached to the game. You're attached to the characters. And that's why it was such a good game. My number 2 favorite RPG of all time is Knights of the Old Republic. And this is just because of what it did for RPGs. Knights of the Old Republic was the first of its kind. It was like it had amazing graphics for that time period. The story was top notch, great. I mean, the voice acting, everything about that game was superb. I mean, you feel attached to it. Everything I said about Knights of the Old Republic 2 is the same with Knights of the Old Republic 1, but the story for Knights of the Old Republic 1 is better. And on top of that, that game was so innovative for the time. I mean, like multiple side quests that can influence the ending. I mean, all kinds of different things that go on in that game. Just everything about that game was amazing. And Knights of the Old Republic 1 is probably to this day my favorite game. Now, my favorite RPG of all time is, of course, you all can probably guess it, The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And this is what I'm going to take the majority of the time talking about. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion is just such a phenomenal game. I mean, everyone that hasn't played it has got to go play it. I mean, what is it now? You can buy a copy of it for like $15. And it's such a memorable game. And the reason why it's so memorable? Quests. Things to do. Things to read. Just the size of the game and the environment. Everything. Bethesda's great at that. With Fallout 3, they did a great job. But with Oblivion, they did the best job. I mean, just think of it this way. Every single book you can find in that game, you can read. There's over 300 locations to discover. And over 230 side quests with the expansions. I mean, there's so much to do in that game. And on top of that, you have the Mages Guild, the Fighters Guild, the the Dark Brotherhood, the Thieves Guild, and the main quest. All of them are beautifully written, and every single one takes like a good 10, 15 hours to beat. And then on top of that, after you've beaten every single guild, you still have like 70 more quests just out in the world that you can do. I mean, it's just the size of the game is just amazing. I mean, all the weapons, every rock, blade of grass, tree, ogre, enemy you have to fight, like Oblivion Gate that pops up, everything about that game just fits together perfectly. And it's a brilliant game. That is the only game that I say that if you have not played, you've got to go out and play. You've got to go out and buy a copy of it because it is just amazing. You've got to go out and play it because it is like one of the best games I guarantee you'll ever play. Thank you.